it's Mark. I am the Sanderson Collector, and today I have the 6 worst covers to ever grace a Sanderson book from around the world. It's taken a while for me to collect these 6 editions, but I finally have all of them here together, and so I'm going to show off these amazingly horrible covers today. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. Coming in at number 6 on the list, we have what I consider to be the most rip-off cover that I've ever seen, and that is the Chinese simplified edition of Alcatraz versus the Scrivener's Bones. And this one has Harry Potter wielding a lightsaber fighting the Terminator. I mean, you can't look at this cover and tell me it's anything other than that, which I think is absolutely hilarious, how they were just trying to play off all of the various franchises. And yeah, it's just ridiculous. So that is number 6 on my list of the worst covers. Moving on to number 5, we have the Czech edition of Warbreaker, and the cover on this one is probably most appropriate for a gay romance novel with 2 hunks standing here shirtless, staring at each other with the wind whipping their luscious locks. And we do have a bunch of color in the background indicating that this is indeed Nalthus, but I really don't think this cover fits this book, and I think it's kind of hilarious that a gay romance feel cover got put on Warbreaker, a Sanderson book of all things, which is very far from a gay romance, and so this ranks at number 5 on my list of worst Sanderson covers of all time. A quick note before I get to the next cover: I'm making fun of these covers, but it's all in good humor. I think a lot of these are really cool covers, and on other books may have worked a lot better. However, they don't work for the Sanderson books they're on, and so it's fun to make fun of them. But there are no hard feelings meant with any of this. I just think they're bad covers for the books they're on, including this one. Number 4 on my list is Warbreaker in Polish, the original cover. This edition has since been repackaged with a new cover from Dominik Broniak, which is an absolutely gorgeous cover, but this original one shows Vampire Vasher with Nightblood, the Koloss sword that glows when you throw it into the fire with the power of Mount Doom. And yeah, I don't fully understand what's going on here. Like, why are his eyes glowing red? Why does he have, like, black wings coming off his back? Why is Nightblood depicted as this huge hunk of a sword when it's canonically not? Like, there's just so much to poke fun at here. I love this cover for how utterly wacky it is, and yeah, Vampire Vasher comes in at number 4 on my list of worst Sanderson covers of all time. Coming in at number 3, we actually have an English edition, a US edition. This is the US mass market paperback original cover, and this is the cover that nearly killed Brandon Sanderson's career. It is the Grim Reaper cover of Mistborn, and it is named such because the figure in the background, who apparently is supposed to be an Inquisitor, looks like a Grim Reaper, complete with a sickle. Then you've got someone who we can only assume is supposed to be Kelsia here, with blue lines for the magic. Just his pose combined with the Grim Reaper, the feel is off for this. And this cover legitimately did almost kill Brandon's career. When Mistborn came out in paperback with this cover, the sales for the book went way down, and it took a while for him to recover. That's why there are fewer copies of Well of Ascension out than there are of Mistborn. Once the book was repackaged with the new cover with the art by Chris McGrath, sales went back up, and the book has taken off since then. But this is the Grim Reaper cover on Mistborn in English that nearly killed Brandon's career. Moving on to number 2 on my favorite worst covers of all time, we have the original Spanish cover for The Final Empire, or El Imperio Final, and this one features a screaming face. I'm not really sure what else to say about this one. the sheer agony of this face with no hair. Like, why? What? I just straight up don't have any words to say to describe or talk about this one. The cover is so ridiculously out of place for the Final Empire in Spanish. So there you have it. And coming in at number 1 is the Brazilian edition of Firefight, which may not even look like that bad of a cover on first glance. It's got a floating woman, it's got a city covered in water, it's got all the correct thematic elements. The reason this one ranks on my number 1 for the worst covers ever is if you take a nice close look at this woman here, she's not wearing any clothes, and that is very apparent, and this is supposed to be Brandon's YA kids book series, and so Firefight with boobs is just, it's a not safe for work cover on a Brandon Sanderson book, and I have no idea how this ever made it past any kind of quality control. I don't think this cover should have actually been approved for this book. I think it's crazy, and I love making fun of the fact that there's actually a naked lady on the cover of a Sanderson YA book. So the Brazilian edition of Firefight ranks in at number 1 on my most loved and hated horrible covers on Brandon Sanderson books of all time. I hope you enjoyed your look at these 6 covers, from Harry Potter versus the Terminator to the boobs. Which one did you think was the worst cover ever to grace a Sanderson book? Please let me know down in the comments, or if you've seen another cover that you think is even worse than the ones I've shown today, please let me know, because I take delight in just how utterly crazy these covers are. Again, I am not knocking these books or the covers. I'm sure that some very good work went into some of these. I just think they're hilariously inappropriate for the books that they have gone on, and so I think it's fun to highlight them and have a little bit of a laugh at the art that has gone on some of these books. I will be back next week with a video about Tress Around the World, so if you want to make sure you catch that and my future videos, please subscribe to my channel. If you've enjoyed this crazy look at the horrible covers from around the world, please go ahead and leave me a like and a comment on this video so the YouTube algorithm says, hey, this Mark guy is kind of cool. I will see y'all next week, and until then, happy collecting.